meet with reversal in life, such incidents should be taken as providential. Although there may be sufficient cause for being unhappy, one should avoid contracting such reversal. Furthermore, we become implicated in rectifying such reversals the more we enter into the darkest region of material anxieties. Lord has also advised us in this connection. We should tolerate things instead of becoming agitated. 35. Lord Indra continue. Saw the performance of those sacrifices, for they have induced Indra to introduce so many irreligious aspects. You should know very well that even among the demigods, there are many unwanted desires. Purport. There are many competitors in ordinary business affairs, and the Kamakanda chapter of the Vedas sometimes cause competitions and envy amongst kamis. Kamis might be envious because he wishes to enjoy material pleasure in their fullness extent. That is the material desire. Consequently, there are always competition among kamists, either in ordinary business affairs or in the performance of yajna. Lord Brahma purpose was to end the competition between Lord Indra and Maharaj Prithu, because Maharaj Prithu was great devotee and incarnation of God. He was requested to stop the sacrifice so that Indra might not further introduce irreligious system, which are always followed by criminals-minded people. Hare Krishna.
Yeah, Prabhu, please go ahead and give some comments on what you have read.
Yes. My small understanding is so many things happen in life whereby it's arranged by God or Krishna. But as we don't understand it, we just do so many things. When those things happen, we feel sorry and we want to show how we are, or to show the purpose. But in all those things happen according to the providence of the Lord. It's God's arrangement, just to stop the wrong sannyasis and the wrong irreligious principles. That is what here Lord Brahma came in and then advised King Prithu to stop this and then to move things ahead. That is the way of the understanding God or Krishna want us to understand in this purpose. Hare Krishna.
Very good, sir.
Very good.
You might want to say something?
No,
Okay.
I mean, just the point keeps coming up, There's always this Prabhupada encouraged transcendental competition. That is a mood of you want to do really well, but that will inspire others that they can do also, and if they do better than you become very happy. Modern society, especially the capitalist society, encourages competition, win-lose competition. If I win, someone else loses, so that's not so good, And then you get really upset if someone else wins, because then I'm a loser. And we don't want that kind of competition. You know, everybody wins. You know, anyone who tries wins, and we should be competing with ourselves, trying to do better than before, not trying to compete with the world's champion or something. Striving, but you know, we can't do the best devotee because that's our running. Okay, very good.
Yes, Chitraputra Prabhu, are you there? Yes, you can read 36 to 37, the long purport. 36 itself also is a long, a little long. Read 36 and 37.
Prabhu, I cannot participate. Okay.
No, it's not you. I'm talking to Chitraputra. Not Chaitanya Prema.
36 and 37.
Yes, go ahead.
Just see how Indra, the king of heaven, was creating a disturbance in the midst of the sacrifice by stealing the sacrificial horse. These attractive sinful activities has introduced will be carried out by the people in general. Purport. As stated in the Bhagavad Gita, chapter 3, verse 21, Yad yad acharati shrestas tattat eva tarojana sayat pramanam kurute lokastat anuvatate. Whatever action is performed by a great man, common men follow in his footsteps. And whatever standard he sets by exemplary acts, all the world perceives. For his own sense gratification, King Indra thought to defeat Maharaj Prithu in the performance of 100 horse sacrifices. Consequently, he stole the horse and hid himself amid so many irreligious personalities. Taking on the false guise of a sannyasi, such activities are attractive to the people in general. Therefore, they are dangerous. But Brahma taught that instead of allowing Indra to further introduce such irreligious system, it would be better to stop the sacrifice. A similar instance was taken by Lord Buddha when people were overly engrossed in the animal sacrifices recommended by Vedic instructions. Lord Buddha had to introduce the religion of non-violence by contradicting the Vedic sacrificial instructions. Actually, in the sacrifices, the slaughtered animals were taking advantage of such Vedic rituals and unnecessary killing poor animals. Therefore, Lord Buddha had to deny the authority of the Vedas for the time being. One should not perform sacrifices that will induce reverse orders. It is better to stop such sacrifices. As we have repeatedly explained, due to a lack of qualified Brahmanical priests in Kali Yuga, it is not possible to perform the ritualistic ceremonies recommended in the Vedas. Consequently, the Shastras instruct us to perform the Sankirtana Yajna. By the Sankirtana sacrifice, the Supreme Personality of Godhead in his form of Lord Chaitanya will be satisfied and worshipped. The entire purpose of performing sacrifices is to worship the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Vishnu. Lord Vishnu or Lord Krishna is present in his form of Lord Chaitanya. Therefore, people who are intelligent should try to satisfy him by performing Sankirtana Yajna. This is the easiest way to satisfy Lord Vishnu in this age. People should take advantage of the injunctions in different shastras concerning sacrifices in this age and not create unnecessary disturbance during the sinful age of Kali. In Kali Yuga, men all over the world are very expert in opening slaughterhouses for killing animals, which they eat. If the old ritualistic ceremonies were observed, people will be encouraged to kill more and more animals. In Calcutta, there are many butcher shops which keep a deity of the goddess Kali, and animal eaters think it proper to purchase animal flesh from such shops in hope that they are eating remnants of food offered to the goddess Kali. They do not know that the goddess Kali never accepts non-vegetarian food because she's the chaste wife of Lord Shiva. Lord Shiva is also a great Vaishnava and never eats non-vegetarian food. And the goddess Kali accepts the remnants of food left by Lord Shiva. Therefore, there's no possibility of her eating flesh or fish. Such offerings are accepted by the associates of the goddess of Kali, known as Bhutas, Pisachas, and Rakshasas. And those who take the prasada of the goddess Kali in the shape of flesh or fish are not actually taking the prasada left by the goddess Kali, but the food left by the Bhutas and the Pisachas.
What are the
37.
Bhutas and Pisachas? Haribo?
Interpreter
Krishna
Go Maharaj
Maharaj.
is asking you.
Right, please the question again.
Your voice is not coming, Go Maharaj. Your audio is not coming out. But Go Maharaj is asking you what are the Bhutas and Pisachas?
Yes, those are the ghostly or goblins.
Right. That's right.
Yes.
There's many different kinds of ghosts. The Pisachas are one kind of ghost. So Shiva is very merciful to the ghosts, and so is Kali. So they come around her. But when people offer meat, they eat it. So you're getting ghost prasadam. It's not very good. People, they have many shops in India, restaurants, so they call it Durga Prasad. But it's not Durga Prasad because she doesn't take. All right, that was a very clear purport, I think.
Thank you, Maharaj.
That's 37.
Yeah, go ahead, Prabhu.
O King Prithu, son of Vina, you are the part and parcel expansion of Lord Vishnu. Due to the mischievous activities of King Vina, religious principles were almost lost. At that opportune moment, you descended as the incarnation of Lord Vishnu. Indeed, for the protection of religious principles, you have appeared from the body of King Vina. The way in which Lord Vishnu kills the demons and protects the faithful is mentioned in Bhagavad Gita, chapter 4, text number 8. Paritranaya sadunam vinashaya cha duskritam dhamma sanspatanataya sambhavami yuge yuge. In order to deliver the pious and to annihilate the miscreants, as well as to re-establish the principles of religion, I myself appear millennium after millennium. In two hands, Lord Vishnu always carries a club and a chakra to kill demons, and in his other two hands, he holds a conch shell and a lotus to give protection to his devotees. When his incarnation is present on this planet or in this universe, the Lord kills the demons and protects his devotees simultaneously. Sometimes Lord Vishnu appears in his person as Lord Krishna or Lord Rama. All of these appearances are mentioned in the Shastras. Sometimes he appears as a Satyavesha avatar like Lord Buddha. As explained before, these Satyavesha avatars are incarnations of Lord Vishnu. Lord Vishnu's power invested in a living entity. Living entities are also part and parcel of Lord Vishnu, but they are not as powerful. Therefore, when a living entity descends as an incarnation of Lord Vishnu, he is especially empowered by the Lord. When King Prithu is described as an incarnation of Lord Vishnu, it should be understood that he is a Satyavesha avatar, part and parcel of Lord Vishnu, and is specifically empowered by him. Any living being acting as the incarnation of Lord Vishnu is thus empowered by Lord Vishnu to preach the Bhakti cult. Such a person can act like Lord Vishnu and defeat demons by arguments and preach the Bhakti cult exactly according to the principles of Shastra. As indicated in the Bhagavad Gita, Whenever we find someone extraordinary preaching the Bhakti court, we should know that he's especially empowered by Lord Vishnu or Lord Krishna. As confirmed in Chaitanya Charitamrita, Antya, chapter 7, verse 11, Krishna Shakti Vina Nahitara Pravartana. One cannot explain the glories of the holy name of the Lord without being specifically empowered by him. If one criticizes or finds fault with such empowered personality, one is to be considered an offender against Lord Vishnu and is punishable. Even though such offenders may dress as Vaishnavas with false tilaka and mala, they are never forgiven by the Lord if they offend a pure Vaishnava. There are many instances of this in the Shastras. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you very much. Want to say something?
No, I think this is also clear. Yes.
Okay.
It's clear. Yes.
So I will read 38 and 39 myself. Continuation. O protector of the people in general, that is 38. Please consider the purpose of your being incarnated by Lord Vishnu. The irreligious principles created by Indra are but models of so many unwanted religions. Please therefore stop this imitation immediately. So Lord Brahma addresses King Prithu as Prajapati, just to remind him of his great responsibility in maintaining the peace and prosperity of the citizens. Maharaj Prithu was empowered by the Supreme Personality of Godhead for this purpose only. It is the duty of the ideal king to see that people are properly executing religious principles. Lord Brahma especially requested King Prithu to conquer the pseudo-religious principles produced by King Indra. In other words, it is the duty of the state or king to put a stop to pseudo-religious systems produced by unscrupulous persons. Originally, a religious principle is one given by the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and it comes through the channel of discipline succession in two forms. Lord Brahma requested King Prithu to desist from his unnecessary competition with Indra, who was determined to stop Prithu's Maharaj from completing 100 yajnas. Instead of creating adverse reactions, it was better for Maharaj Prithu to stop the yajnas in the interest of his original purpose as incarnation. This purpose was to establish good government and set things in the right order. 39. The great sage Maitreya continued, when King Prithu was thus advised by Supreme Teacher Lord Brahma, he abandoned his eagerness to perform yajna and with great affection concluded a peace with Indra. So this is a very, from the purpose purport from previous verse and this verse. So it shows how even if we are trying to do the right thing, according to King Prithu, doing 100 yajna was the right thing. But when we are being advised by authority to follow what will be pleasing to the Lord, so it is very, very important. Pleasing the Lord is sometimes better than doing the right thing. So according to King Prithu, doing 100 yajna was the right thing for him to do. But when Lord Brahma came in, he asked him to leave it at 99, so that for the pleasure of the Lord, and not to smash the ego of Indra, which is also another representative of the Lord. So even Indra was envious, considered to be envious, but still, because it's still doing service under your supreme authority of the Lord, so he has to be respected also. So Lord Brahma came in and give a very wonderful mediation here. We can study mediation in this verses, where Lord Brahma came and give this mediation on how to settle this misunderstanding between Indra and a universal leader and King Pritu, who is the leader of the heads at that time. So this mediation was orchestrated by Lord Brahma, and he did it in a way that both parties are pleased and happy in pleasing the Lord simultaneously. So it's very important to do this and to observe this. And here in this verse, my ceremony continued. When King Prithu was thus advised by the supreme teacher, Lord Brahma, he abandoned his eagerness to perform yajna, and with great affection concluded a peace with Indra. So to show that Lord Prithu Maharaj was interested in pleasing the Lord, he accepted Lord Brahma's order. And in this way, peace accord was signed between King Indra and Maharaj Prithu. Hare Krishna. So I will ask Kamalash Prabhu to read, except Guru Maharaj, if you want to say something. If not,
Yeah,
Kamalash Prabhu.
Brahma's,
yes, go.
yeah, Brahma's more or less glorifying Prithu and saying, you're doing good, but it's causing Indra to make all kinds of trouble, so don't do it anymore. Even though it's good, it's making Indra agitated, and he's creating all these illicit things. So that's very interesting. Because they're still honoring Indra, he's something special. It's like even after all the damage he did to Govardhan, trying to kill everybody, Krishna didn't really punish him. He just made him humble and said, get back to work, because he has a very hard job. And, a lot of the work is passionate. So Krishna, tolerates him. Not that we should think, well, I can do like that, but all right, that's all.
Okay, good man. So, Kamalash Prabhu, you want to continue 40, 40, then 41, then 42, which is the end. Can you end it, Prabhu? Kamalash, are you there?
41.
Yeah, we go from 40 to 40 to the end of the chapter.
Okay. 40. After this, Prithu Maharaj took his bath, which is customarily taken after the performance of a yagya, and received the benedictions and due blessings of the demigods, who were very pleased by his glorious activities. Purport. Yagya means Lord Vishnu. For all yagya is meant to please the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Lord Vishnu. Since the demigods automatically become very pleased with the performance of sacrifice, they bestow benediction upon the executors of yagya. When one pours water on the root of a tree, the branches, trunk, twigs, flowers, and leaves are all satisfied. Similarly, when one gives food to the stomach, all parts of the body are rejuvenated. In the same way, if one simply satisfies Lord Vishnu by the performance of yagya, one satisfies all the demigods automatically. In turn, the demigods offer their benediction to such a devotee. A pure devotee, therefore, does not ask benedictions directly from the demigods. His only business is to serve the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Thus, he is never in need of those things supplied by the demigods. 41. With great respect, the original king Prithu offered all kinds of rewards to the Brahmanas present at the sacrifice. Since all his Brahmanas were very much satisfied, they gave their heartfelt blessings to the king. 42. All the great sages and Brahmanas said, O mighty king, by your invitation, all classes of living entities have attended this assembly. They have come from Pritaloka and the heavenly planets, and great sages as well as common men have attended this meeting. Now all of them are very much satisfied by your dealings and your charity towards them. The great sage material continued, "My dear Vidura, being very much satisfied by the performance of 99 hot sacrifices, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Lord Vishnu, appeared on the scene. Accompanying him was King Indra. Lord Vishnu then began to speak. Lord Vishnu, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, said, 'My dear King Prithu, Indra, the King of Heaven, has disturbed your execution of 100 sacrifices. Now he has come with me to be forgiven by you. Therefore, excuse him. O King, one who is advanced in intelligence and eager to perform welfare."
You didn't read the purpose of the verse 2. Actually, you were supposed to stop at the end of 19, but you went on. But it's okay. But you the purpose, there's a purpose for text number 2.
Okay, let me read the purpose.
Yes, Prabhu.
In this age, the word Atmaram is very significant. It is a custom among yogis and gyanis to address one another, or even an ordinary man, as oneself, for a transcendentalist never accepts a living being to be the body. Since the individual self is part and parcel of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, the self and the super self are qualitatively non-different. As the next verse will explain, the body is only a superficial covering, and consequently, an advanced transcendentalist will not make a distinction between oneself and another. Hare Krishna.
Okay, you want to say something regarding what you have read so far? Maybe Guru Maharaj will now comment, then we can go to the next person.
No, go ahead.
Okay, Guru Maharaj. Kamala Prabhu, you want to say something?
No.
Okay. Salika Prabhu, please, you can read test 3 and 20, test 3 and test 4, if possible.
Hare Krishna. 23.
Yes, Prabhu.
O King, one who is advanced in intelligence and eager to perform welfare activities for others is considered best among human beings. An advanced human being is never malicious to others. Those with advanced intelligence are always conscious that this material body is different from the soul. Purport by Srila Prabhupada. In daily life, we find that when a madman commits murder, he is excused even by high court judge. The idea is that a living entity is always pure because he is part and parcel of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. When he falls into clutches of material energy, he becomes a victim of the three modes of material nature. Indeed, whatever he does under the influence of material nature, as stated in the Bhagavad Gita 5:14. Nakatvetvam na karmani lokasya srijati prabhu narkarma phala samyogam swabhavastu prabhatate. The embodied spirit master of the city of this body, of his body, does not create activities, nor does he induce people to act, nor does he create the fruit of action. All this is enacted by the modes of material nature. Actually, the living entity or soul does not do anything. Everything is done under the influence of the modes of material nature. When a man is diseased, the symptoms of the disease become a source of all kinds of pain. Those who are advanced in transcendental consciousness or Krishna consciousness are never envious, neither of the soul nor of the activities of the soul under the influence of material nature. Advanced transcendentalists are called Sudhya. Sudhi means intelligence. Sudhi means highly advanced. And Sudhi means devotee. One who is both devoted and highly advanced in intelligence does not take actions against the soul or the body. If there is any discrepancy, he forgives. It is said that forgiveness is a quality of those who are advancing in spiritual knowledge. Text, next verse. If a personality like you, who are so much advanced because of executing the instructions of the previous Acharya, is carried away by the influence of material energy, then all your advancement may be considered simply a waste of time. In this verse, Prabhupada wrote, the word Vrida Sevaya is very significant. Means by service. Perfect knowledge is acquired from the acharyas or liberated souls. No one can be perfect in knowledge without being trained by the parampara system. Prithu Maharaj was completely trained in that line. Therefore, he did not deserve to be considered an ordinary man. An ordinary man who has only a conception of bodily existence is always bewildered by the modes of material nature.
I have a question. Maybe you can help me.
Maharaj, probably you have started.
No, based on the one you read. So because it is mentioned there that we are not the doer, and so based on that, everything is being acted by the three modes of material nature. So, and in the verse, it is mentioned that those who perform welfare activities human being, they are the best. It's considered to be the best among human beings. So how can we balance this situation based on Prabhupada's purpose that say that we are not the doer? But here is mentioned also, performing welfare activity makes you to be the best among the doer, amongst human beings. So who is the doer? What is happening? So if you can say this based on the purpose you read.
Hare Krishna. This is what we call oxymoron in English language. But in our philosophy, it is called Achintya Beda Abeda Tattva. The primary thing that Prabhupada is wanting us to understand in that text is that the living entity is always pure. The soul is always pure, but it gets covered by these various types of desires. In the Bhagavad Gita, Lord Krishna explains in Bhagavad Gita chapter 18, Lord Krishna explained various contributors to the performance of actions. The living entity who desires the material nature, Lord Krishna told in text number 14 of Bhagavad Gita that there are 5 contributors to actions, that the place of the action, the performer, the various senses, the many different kinds of endeavor, and ultimately the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And in 7.8, Lord Krishna mentioned that I'm the ability in man, and Krishna is talking about being ability in man through the expression of the work of the material nature. 321 also confirms that state prakriti kriya mana ani. So ultimately, what the verse is trying to make us understand is that the living entity, although it's not the doer, but is the cause of the action because it desires, and its desire is being fulfilled by the Lord. But the Lord does not do any work. As we know, Krishna is Swayarat. He's completely independent and is free from any activities. So, but through the agencies of the 3 modes of material nature, the desires of the living entity are arranged by the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So those who are intelligent, as mentioned, those who are transcendentalists, they understand all of these intricacies of action and inaction. So therefore, they do not hold down on any activities of the soul as ultimate activity, because they know that living entity born into the material body is born of delusion based on his desire. So therefore, they understand and they easily forgive such a person, because they understand that the three modes of material in nature, the only fault of the living entity is that it desires, and his desiring is not wrong. It's just that it's covered by this influence of the modes of material nature. And when it comes to realize that these desires are ultimately meant to be for the Supreme Personality of God, it becomes purified, it becomes freed, and is ultimately return back to its original state of purity of consciousness. So that's my understanding. I don't know whether this answers your question, probably.
No, thank you. Guru Maharaj, please, you want to add, you want to say something based on what you have said
Yeah,
on this verse?
about it says in the beginning how even a madman will be excused even in the high court.
Yes, Guru Maharaj.
Do you hear me?
Yes,
Yeah.
Guru Maharaj. Yes,
Okay.
Guru Maharaj.
Prabhupada tells a story how, because nowadays lawyers always try to take advantage of that. Try to say that the murderer was insane at the time, or he's insane, and therefore he should not be punished so much. Prabhupada said there was a case in Calcutta, and the lawyer was trying to say that the man was a madman. So they called a psychiatrist and asked him, and the psychiatrist said, well, as far as I'm concerned, everyone is crazy. Instead of saying this guy's not crazy, he just said everybody's crazy. So that's a fact. But there's degrees of it. You can't excuse someone, because they were drunk and they killed somebody or they beat up their child or something. Say, well, he was drunk, so you can't blame him for it because he got himself drunk, right?
Yes, Guru Maharaj.
And then that happens, that their natural, ability to hold back their demoniac tendencies under the influence of alcohol is, and they act in terrible ways, and or even anger. Sometimes if someone gets angry and they do very terrible things, and they always deny I never did it. They don't even remember doing it because they were completely controlled by anger. So we have to be very careful to work on reducing the lust so that the anger won't take over. Very important for devotees to read Bhakti Tirthamraja's book. What is it, From Lust to Love? Is that the title?
Transforming lust to love.
Yeah. Very important book. It helped a lot of devotees. And very important, for the world. Something that many people are thinking about. And they think lust is love. But loving objects and exploiting people instead of loving people and exploiting objects. All right. Thank you very much. Carry on. This is very educational, these verses and this whole section. Boy, I picked this pre-2 section because it's always been one of my favorites. So carry on.
Yeah, Jyotishwar Prabhu, can you replace test 5? Continue from test 5 to 6.
Translation. Those who are in full knowledge of bodily conception of life, who knows that this body is composed of nescience, desire and activities resulting from illusion, do not become addicted to the body. Purport. As stated in previous verse, those with good intellect, suddhiya, do not accept themselves to be a body. Being a creation of nescience, the body has two types of activities, in the bodily conception. When we think that sense gratification will help us, we are in illusion. Another kind of illusion is to think that one will be happy by trying to satisfy the desire that arises from the illusory body, or by attaining elevation to the higher planetary system, or by performing various type of Vedic rituals. This is all illusion. Similarly, material activities performed for political emancipation
Emancipation.
and emancipation and social and humanitarian activities performed with an idea that people of the world will be happy are also illusory, because the basic principle is the bodily conception, which is illusory. Whatever we desire to perform under the bodily conception is all illusion. In other words, Lord Vishnu performed Prithu Maharaj that although the sacrificial performance set an example for ordinary people, there was no need for such sacrificial performance as far as his personal self was concerned, as confirmed in Bhagavad Gita 2.45, Trigunya Vaishya Veda, Vishishtyarguno Bhavarjuna, Nirdhavando Nitya Sattvostho, Niryago Kshema Atmavan. The Veda mainly deals with the subject of a three mode of material nature. Rise above these modes, O Arjuna, be transcendental to all of them, be free from all dualities and from all anxieties for gain and safety, and be established in the self. The, the ritualistic performance recommended in the Vedas mainly depend on the three mode of material nature. Consequently, Arjuna was advised to transcend the Vedic activities. The activities Arjuna was advised to perform were the transcendental activities of devotional service. 6. Translation. How can a highly learned person who has absolutely no affinity for the body conception of life be affected by the body conception in regard to house, children, wealth, and similar other bodily production? Purport. The Vedic ritualist ceremonies are certainly meant to please the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Lord Vishnu. However, by such activities, one does not actually satisfy the Lord. Rather, with the sanction of the Lord, one tries to satisfy one's own senses. In other words, materialists who are especially interested in the sense gratification are given permission or a license to enjoy sense gratification by executing the Vedic ritualistic ceremonies. That is called Trigunya Vaishya Veda. The Vedic performance are based on the three mode of material nature. Those who are elevated above the material condition are not at all interested in such Vedic performance. Rather, they are interested in the higher duties of transcendental loving service to the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Such devotional service is called Trigunya. Devotional service to the Lord has nothing to do with a material conception of bodily comfort.
Please, can you say something regarding the two purports and verses you have read?
So, Prabhuji, in this verse, Prabhupada is explaining about the three Trigunya Atmanvan. Actually, it is said that we if we are in this bodily conception, if we think about the activities we are doing, that means we are in illusion. If we are thinking that we are the doer or we are the one doing all this activity, I am the result of my work, or if I'm thinking about my body or my family or my friends or whatever, that means we are in illusion. So here Prabhupada has explained there is another kind of illusion, that one will become happy. That we are thinking that if we do this, we will be happy. That is the illusion. And from there, illusory body or a system, or by performing this various type of Vedic ritual, like if we think if we do these rituals, we will be elevated or we will be happy. That is the illusion. So that is what Prabhupada is explaining here in this verse.
Gumara, you want to say something? And we'll move on.
No, very
Okay.
good.
Okay, Gumara. Next person.
Anybody else can
Ras-
say something if they like.
Yeah, Rasa Babu, you want to say something before you read your own verses?
I think it's okay.
Okay. So please, you can go ahead and read the next verse 7.
Like 7.
Yes, Babu.
Translation. The individual soul is one, pure, non-material, and self-effulgent. He is the reservoir of all good qualities and is all-pervading. He is without material covering, and he is the witness of all activities. He is completely distinguished from other living entities, and he is transcendental to all embodied souls. Peppered by His Divine Grace, Prabhupada. In the previous verse, two significant words are used. Asam Shakta, meaning without attachment, and Buddha, meaning fully cognizant of everything. By full cognizance, it is meant that one should know about his own constitutional position as well as the position of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. According to Sri Vishwanatha Chakravarti Thakur, in this verse, Lord Vishnu is describing himself as the Paramatma. The Paramatma is always distinguished from the embodied soul as well as the material world. Therefore, he has been described as Para. That Para, or Supreme Personality of Godhead, is Eka, meaning one. The Lord is one, whereas the conditioned souls embodied within the material world exist in many varieties of form. There are demigods, human beings, animals, trees, birds, bees, and so forth. Thus, the living entities are not Eka, but many. As confirmed in the Vedas, Ityonityanam, Chetanans Chetananam, the living entities who are many and are entangled in this material world are not pure. However, the Supreme Personality of Godhead is pure and detached. Due to being covered by the material body, the living entities are not self-effulgent. But the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Paramatma, is self-effulgent. The living entities, being contaminated by the modes of material nature, are called Saguna, whereas Paramatma, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, is Nirguna, not being under the influence of the material modes. The living entities, being engaged in the material qualities, are Gunashrita, whereas the Supreme Personality of Godhead is Gunasashraya. The conditioned soul's vision is covered by material contamination. Therefore, he cannot see the cause of his actions, and he cannot see his past lives. The Supreme Personality of Godhead, not being covered by a material body, is the witness of all the activities of the living entity. But both of them, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, are Atma or spirit. They are one in quality. They are different in so many ways, especially in regard to the 6 opulences of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Especially in regard to the 6 opulences the Supreme Personality of Godhead has in full. Full knowledge means that the Jiva Atma, the living entity, must know both his position and the Supreme position, the Supreme's position. That is full knowledge. Hare Krishna.
If we want to say something, it's a long purpose.
Thank you very much. Actually, by this purport, Srila Prabhupada made us to understand clearly our position as the Jivas and the position of the Supreme Personality of Godhead as the Supreme. We as the Jivas, once in this material world, we are covered by the body and its influences. By the Supreme Lord, no matter how he appears in this our world, is not at all covered. He's Nirguna, and we are Sadgunas. So the material influence, the material modes have no influence at all on the Lord. And our full knowledge, when a living entity is referred to as being in full knowledge, the Prabhupada says it means that that individual soul has come to the realization of his individual self, his position as constitutionally a servant of the Supreme Lord, and then the knowledge of the position of the Supreme Lord as the Supreme. Therefore, we must gear all our activities towards serving him and pleasing him. That is what is full knowledge by the individual soul. And then the Prabhupada says that, yes, the Supreme Lord is full in all the 6 opulences, but the individual soul is not full. We have the opulences to some extent. So this clearly makes the reason why we must always be attached to serving and pleasing the Supreme Lord. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you very much, Prabhu. Kumar, you want to say something?
No,
Okay. Ramakrishna Prabhu, please, you can go ahead and read the verse 8 and 9. Verse 8, 9 is a long purport also. Okay, you can read 8 and 9. Please go ahead.
Hare Krishna. Yes. Although within the material nature, one who is thou situated in full knowledge of the Paramatma and Atma is never affected by the modes of material nature, for he is always situated in mind transcendental loving service. The point by Srila Prabhupada, when the Supreme Personality of Godhead appears in this material world, is not affected by the modes of material nature. Similarly, those who are always connected with the Supreme Personality of Godhead, even though they be within the material body or the material world, are not affected by the material qualities. That is explained very nicely in Bhagavad Gita 14:26. Mam chayo yabi charana bhakti yogina savati sagunam samatitiyatam brahma bhutai brahma boyaya kapiti. One who is unflinching, engaged in the devotional service of the Lord, surpass the material qualities and attain Brahma realization. In this connection, Sri Rupa Goswami says that if a person is always engaged in the service of the Lord with his body, words, and mind, is to be considered liberated, although living in the material world. Verse 9. The Supreme Personality of Godhead, Lord Vishnu, continue. My dear King Prithu, one was situated in his occupational duty, engaged in my loving service without notice, without motive for material gain, he gradually becomes very satisfied within.
Very important.
Mhm.
There's many other places, but without motive for material gain. Pure devotional service. What is it? What's the verse by Rupa Goswami? It's quoted so many times.
What is that verse? Gyana karma dhyana vitalo koyena Krishna Nishana Bhakti Vaibhav. Aya Vilashitan
Yabilasita.
So many times quoted. And it's throughout the Bhagavatam. So that's the question, is why you're doing something, not exactly how you're doing it or how well you perfectly you do it or something, but the motive for doing it is what Krishna sees. So devotional service should be uninterrupted and unmotivated. It's in the first canto, right? Yeah. Uninterrupted and unmotivated. So if we're feeling like I feel all the time, I'm not getting anywhere, I'm trying to serve, but going backwards or whatever, we have to examine ourselves. How much are we interrupting our service? How much are we motivated? We want to be motivated, but motivated to please Krishna. It means not, but motivation, now there's a lot of motivational speakers and they get huge money and they get people all jacked up, but it doesn't last. It's an emotional outburst, but we want to be inspired. So by hearing the activities of the pure devotees, especially the acharyas, and especially Srila Prabhupada for us, but all other great devotees in our movement, we can get inspired and want to do the same thing, want to do like them. And then we'll work, not for material gain. See, Prithu was not doing these yagas for any kind of material gain. He's the king, and he's doing the yagas for the benefit of the kingdom. It's his duty. But Indra evidently had done it in order to get the job, and then he's worried about losing the job, which is a common thing in business world. In politics, if somebody's afraid that someone's coming up and might beat him in the election, they'll run some smear campaign against him in the media and, create all kinds of false accusations or something. And all these things are going on. We are above that theoretically, but, we can also I just was hearing class this morning and said even very advanced devotees, can be affected by these material defects. So we have to be careful. And if we're constantly hearing Bhagavatam daily, that is especially helpful. That association with Prabhupada and the great devotees. Okay? So I guess there's more explanation coming.
Thank you, Maharaj. Can I Krishna Prabhu please read the purport? Then Madhavan Prabhu can prepare to read.
Okay. Hare Krishna. This verse is also confirmed by the Vishnu Purana, occupational duty. Occupational duties are known as Vanashrama Dharma and apply to the four divisions of material and spiritual life, namely Brahmana, Kshatriya, Vaishya, and Sudra, and Brahmacharya, Gahastra, Panaprastha, and Sannyasi. If one works according to the Vanashrama Dharma system and does not deserve fruitive results, he gets satisfaction gradually. Discharging one's occupational duty as a means of rendering devotional service unto the Supreme Personality of Godhead is the ultimate goal of life. Bhagavad Gita confirmed this as a process of karma yoga. In other words, we should act only for the satisfaction and service of the Lord. Otherwise, we will be entangled by the resultant actions. Everyone is situated in his occupational duty, but the purpose of material occupations should not be material gain. Rather, everyone should offer the results of his occupational activities. A Brahmana, especially, should execute his occupational duty not for material gain, but to praise the Supreme Personality of Godhead. The Kshatriya, Vaishya, and Sudra should work in a similar way. In this material world, everyone is engaged in various professional and occupational duties, but the purpose of such activities should be to please the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Devotional service is very simple, and anyone can adopt it. Let one remain what he is. He need only install the deity of the Supreme Lord in his house. The deity may be Radha Krishna or Lakshmi Narayana. There are many other forms of the Lord. In this way, a Brahmana, Kshatriya, Vaishya, or Sudra can worship the deity with the results of his honest labor. Regardless of one's occupational duty, one should adopt the devotional means of hearing, chanting, remembering, worshiping, offering everything to the Lord and engage in his service. In this way, one can very easily engage himself in the service of the Lord when the Lord is pleased with one's service. One's mission in life is fulfilled. Hare Krishna.
Thank you very much.
Hare.
So, Ruma, you want to say something?
No. Well,
Okay.
yeah, that's, in the 18th chapter of the Bhagavad Gita, where Krishna says one can perfect his life by offering his occupational duties to the Lord. This is the big question we get from householders. Well, I don't want to do my work. I want to just go to Mayapur and chant or something. But we have, if can think this is for Krishna, whatever you're doing. If you have a job, business, it's all for Krishna because we're serving Krishna, and Krishna has given me the job and we should be happy, and the family he's given. Don't think of it as a burden, think of it as a privilege. Just offer all the results to Krishna. It's not like he's not going to leave you stranded and starving somewhere. And then you'll have a chance to think of Krishna all the time. All right? And if you read it, Brahma Samhita, the purport in verse 61, you'll find a very nice explanation of it. Okay? So,
I have a question, Maharaj. Hare Krishna.
yeah. Yes, sir.
My question is this, Maharaj. A whole ritual, it is big to perform a 100 sacrifice, have to meet some challenges like Indra becoming envious and trying to stop it. Now, the supreme yagya for this age is the chanting of the Hare Krishna Maha Mantra.
Yeah.
Would it be correct to say that devotees are trying to chant the Hare Krishna Maha Mantra? Some entities also can become envious of them and try to disturb them. Would it be correct to say that also? Hare Krishna.
Who would become envious?
But I didn't hear you.
Would who become envious?
Yes, some entities become envious of devotees and try to stop them from
Yeah,
chanting.
that happens.
Okay.
It happens happened in Bali, where in New York City, there's a lot of Indians, and so there's a lot of Indian priests who are making business of doing yajnas, and they don't like Hare Krishna at all, because the devotees, are taught you don't have to do all these other yajnas. You can just chant Hare Krishna. You don't have to pay a fortune for funerals or weddings or something. So these priests, they really don't like it, and they blaspheme and do what they can to stop Hare Krishna. What to speak of other religions sometimes, like in Russia, the Orthodox Church is very much against. But that's always been the case with Jesus. The Pharisees, they were against him because he was simplifying everything. And Lord Chaitanya, he was preaching that you don't have to, be a Brahmana by birth. You don't have to pay the Brahmana for every breath you take. You just have to chant the holy name. And they were saying, no, only Brahmanas can chant. Try everything. So that will happen. But the Sankirtan Yagya, is anyone can, but that's the point of it, that anyone can do it. Nam Namakari Bahudani Sarva Shakti Tarpitani Mata Smarni Nikalaha Vitadasi Tavakipa Bhagavan Mamapi Daivam Idishami Anjani Nanarad. There's no hard and fast rules. Anytime, any place, anybody can chant the holy name and it will have effect. But still, the purity of the chanter is a factor. Chant for Krishna's pleasure. I heard, I was with her right next to Prabhupada, and he was pointing out in Vrindavan, everything was all burned out and there was no green. He said, there's no rain. He said, they're not chanting enough. And the devotee said, oh, Prabhupada, if we chant, it will rain. And Prabhupada said, yes, but don't chant for rain. Chant for Krishna's pleasure, then it will rain. If you chant for rain, it won't rain. If you chant for Krishna's pleasure, you get everything. If you chant, for material gain, you may not get it. You definitely won't get Krishna. You may get some material gain, but you won't get Krishna. Still, we encourage everyone to chant. because no matter what their reason for chanting is, if they chant, they'll get purified. They keep chanting. Okay, go ahead.
Yes, Madhavan Prabhu, please, you can go test 10. Read test 10, and then
Hare Krishna.
I think we have about 8 minutes more.
You see, so
Hare Krishna.
yeah.
It's like I'm having problem with my system to read the text. The thing just flawed now.
Okay, Prabhu. So Chitraputra Prabhu, can you read test 10?
Yes, Hare Krishna. Test 10. When the heart is cleansed of all material contamination, the devotee's mind becomes broader and transparent, and he can see things equally. At that stage of life, there is peace, and one is situated equally with me as Satchit Ananda Vigraha. Purport. The Mayavada conception of Kaivalya and that of the Vaishnava community is different. The Mayavadi thinks that as soon as one is free from all material contamination, he is merged into the existence of the Supreme. The Vaishnava philosopher's conception of Kaivalya is different. That he understands both his position and the position of Godhead. In the uncontaminated condition, the living entity understands that he is eternal servitor of the spiritual perfection of the living entity. This rapport is very easily achieved. As stated in Bhagavad Gita, when one is engaged in transcendental loving service of the Lord, he is immediately situated on the transcendental platform of Kaivalya or Brahman. Verse 11. Anyone who knows that this material body, made of the 5 gross elements, the sense organs, the working senses, and the mind, is simply supervised by the fixed soul, is eligible to be liberated from material bondage. Purport. This verse describes how one can become liberated from material bondage. The first point is that one must know that the soul is different from his body. The soul is called Dehi, or one who possesses the body. And the material body is called Deha, or the embodiment of the soul. The body is changing at every moment, but the soul is fixed. Therefore, the soul is called Kutastam. The change of body is enacted by the reactions of the 3 modes of nature. One who has understood the fixed position of the soul should not be disturbed by the incoming and outgoing interactions of the modes of material nature in the form of happiness and distress. In the Bhagavad Gita also, Lord Krishna recommends that since happiness and distress come and go due to the interactions of the modes of material nature on the body, one should not be disturbed by such external movements. Even though one is sometimes absorbed in such external movement, he has to learn to tolerate them. The living entity should be always indifferent to the action and reaction of external body. Lord Krishna says in the Bhagavad Gita that the body made of the gross physical elements, earth, water, fire, air, and sky, and the subtle elements, mind, intelligence, and ego, is completely different from the soul proper. The soul proper. One should therefore not be disturbed by the action and reaction of these 8 gross and subtle elements. The practical process to attain this stage of indifference is to execute devotional service. Only one who constantly engages in devotional service 24 hours a day can be indifferent to the action and reaction of external body. When a man is absorbed in a particular thought, he does not hear or see any external activities, even though they are enacted in his presence. Similarly, those who are fully absorbed in devotional service do not care what is going on with the external body. That status is called samadhi. one who is actually stated in Samadhi is understood to be a first-class yogi. Hare Krishna.
Yeah.
So, Gumara, you can comment and.
Well, that's like very basic philosophy, which, we have to hear again and again and again because we're so attached to these bodies. That you're not the body. How is that? How can that be? How can we act? We have to act on the spiritual platform, dance for the deities, especially chant and dance for the deities. And then all the karma flies away. Okay, whoever read should comment.
Gumara, you said? You stop at
Whoever
11.
was reading.
Stop at 11, Gumara.
He says whoever read should comment.
Oh, okay. Oh, trouble.
Maharaj, you have said it all,
No, yeah, Guru Maharaj, I would like to comment regarding this. We are not the body because, yeah, it's easier said than done. And many devotees we have experienced in the years of practicing devotional service that to say we are not the body is very easy to say, but in practical aspect is very, very, not easy. So here in the purport proper make it very easy for us to understand how to act on that platform of we are not the body. It's not that the miseries are not going to be there, but we just need to tolerate them and remain fixed in the devotional service. Whether we are happy, whether we are not happy, we just continue to remain fixed in the service to Krishna. That is how to act on the platform that we are not the body, not being disturbed by the external situation, but remaining fixed in the devotion in service to Krishna. Chanting the holy names of Krishna every day, no matter whatever is our situation, no matter whatever, whether we are happy or we are not happy, we just have to chant our 16 rounds or more every day. Then one day, Mamchayo Bebiachari now, Bhakti Yogena Sevate. So if we are not affected by the situation, circumstances around us, we keep on engaged in devotional service, then one day we'll be on that transcendental platform. Just like in the previous purport, Prabhupada also mentioned that Srila Rupa Goswami said that one who engages with the mind, words, and his body in devotional service, non-deviated from the path, is already liberated, even though while living in the body. So that is what it means that we are not the body. Even while we are in the body, we are not disturbed by the body, we still remain fixed in devotional service to Krishna. That's what I'd like to say to Maharaj.
Yeah. So what is Bhakti Vinod? How does he put that? Grihe tako bane tako harinama bolod. Right?
Let's go, Maharaj.
Suki duki bulidako.
Yes, Maharaj.
Whether you're a grihasta, you're living in the jungle, you're a householder, whether you're happy or sad, just chant. Just chant the holy name. Right? Okay, thank you all very much. Perfect. It's good when everybody comments and everybody reads, because the idea is we all become able to explain all these things. So we can give classes, we can go to the university, and we can answer questions nicely, comfortably. All right? Because there's unlimited people out there waiting to get some proper education. Thank you very much. Bye-bye.
Thank you very much, Maharaj. Dhanavad pranam.
I have to move.
Baba Levio, Levio Namo
Krishna
Namaha.
Bibio, Namo Namaha.
Zorina Kavichandra Swami Maharaj ki jai.
Jai.
Ki jai. Bhakti Vaibhav ki jai. All glories to